Hi guys, good evening and welcome to another episode of Builders of Bharat, hosted by Recro, where we speak with leaders of today to inspire many leaders of tomorrow. Today I have someone who has spent almost 2 decades in tech and has worked with some of the most remarkable brands like HTC, Bank of America, PayPal, Jio, and is the global head of software development at Tesco. But beyond this, he's a person who's ambitious, who's very fun, and slightly homesick too. Welcome to the podcast, Jagdeesh. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for the intro, Anmol. And hello, everyone. Good evening. First of all, thanks for this opportunity from
Yeah.
Recro. And thanks for everyone online and in middle of their busy schedules, carving out the time to hear out from me. Thank you all.
I'm really sure they'd love listening to the stories that you have to tell, and they'll go back home very motivated. So let's begin our conversation and jump directly into your childhood. So when we spoke earlier, you told me a lot of nuggets about your childhood. So can you share about your childhood and the environment that you grew up in, and what kind of a student were you back in school?
Okay. I was
Yeah,
born and brought up near suburbs of Chennai, and
yeah,
it's town called Tiruvallur. And I come from a lower middle class family. My father owned a small grocery shop. In coming to schooling, the choice was not easy that time
yeah,
because of financial thing. They need to take up a challenge between government school or private school. Finally,
yeah,
after much deliberation, they decided to enroll me in a private school and completed my primary education. Then for secondary education, they went to another school that is again top school in that town at least. So
yeah,
I managed to get into an English medium school, and I can say I'm above average student, consistently
yeah,
achieving around 70% in my exams. I know nowadays, I don't know what they call 70% is above average or not, but in my good olden days, at least it's almost average or above average, I can call out. But only
yeah.
exception is math. I love for numbers and logic help me to get better in the subject. So normally I score beyond the average, almost 90 plus minimum and max. That's how my childhood and my education was.
Okay, sir. So, sir, tell me, how did your family influence your career choices? Right, a lot of times for certain decisions, right? For example, I understand that you come from a very humble background. So, how did you decide to pursue engineering, and was it engineering in the first place? So, yeah, go about it.
Yeah. So actually, at least my exceptional performance in maths get me a seat in Aloyla College. It's a BSc Maths, and whoever from Tamil Nadu, at least they know it's a, like again a top
Yeah, yeah,
college
yeah,
in arts and science. And it was, however, a short journey for almost 2 months. I'm not sure how many people know exactly during TN in 2000, like there was a issue going on question paper and the result got delayed. So that's how I got the 2.5 months journey in BSc Max. And but even though result came late, it was not much impressive. So I know like the entrance result, I didn't get into much of engineering thing that day. So it was not that great and it didn't help me to get any top college in engineering. And but my
okay,
parents felt that somehow they want to push me towards engineering, so it influenced me partially, and that's
yeah,
how I took up engineering. And now I'm thankful for them, but that's the right decision at that point of time. Maybe I didn't know.
yeah, probably yes, but didn't it pain slightly to leave math, which kind of you really enjoyed doing that time?
Yeah, so you're asked, I just like broke for a second, so sorry, can you repeat it?
Okay. No worries, no worries. I was just saying that didn't it hit slightly to part ways with mathematics, which was one of your preferred choices?
See, actually, that is true because nowadays,
Yeah,
if you see, the work is more related to passion in this era. If you
yeah,
see a couple
yeah,
of decades back, mostly it was treated as something to earn money or like make
yeah,
your lives stable. So
yeah,
that days, like in 2000, computers were entering the market and those Y2K stuff and all came later. But that time, like
yeah,
if you ask anyone, like obviously they will
yeah,
choose engineering, and the
yeah,
knowledge is limited that time. So again, as I said, like they don't want to take the risk of having a patient. So that's where it
Yes, yes, yes.
digressed. But still, like engineering as max. So in that
Yeah.
way, I feel
You
uh,
were settled for it,
it's
right?
managed. Yeah.
But that's really good. One thing that I realize is that whenever we bank on any such decisions that have been made by our elders, it usually, in 90% of the cases, turns out to be very good for us on a future run, right? And
Yeah.
that's where you went into engineering, obviously a fabulous college, right? Then after completing your engineering, there was a rough patch in your life. Can you just talk about that and why was that patch slightly rough?
Okay. You're right. So
Yeah,
basically, in engineering, we study around 50 plus subjects.
yeah,
But when I get college seats, so
hmm,
after getting out, right, it's again outskirt college, as you said. It's like it doesn't have proper facility of campus or coaching the people or exactly students to get through a proper career journey. So that's not there.
yeah,
So I didn't get a proper track record and placement how normally people used to get. So that's where I felt lost. And then
okay,
I want to prepare for interview. If I want to get exposure on how what all things need for corporate life, those things I didn't get exactly as expected in those days. Imagine normally if you see now I can able to list down all the subjects what exactly we need to prepare, like starting from at
yeah,
least four subjects like programming language, one DSL Go, RDBMS for data store, OS networking. So those are the key subjects required. But there I
yes,
don't even that kind of knowledge to get a deep dive in those subjects. That's where it became a tough period, right? Like when personally not knowing what has to be prepared and where my future lies. But during my days, at least, like I'm thankful my friends and who saved my life during that time. So normally they uh, I normally like without job, right? Like after college, we used to interact in the evening, we talk and we chit
yeah.
chat. So that's how they started at least encouraging me. That makes me not taking much into head during that tough time.
Yeah, I think that's very, very important, right? To have a good support system around you that
Yeah.
can probably be or stick around with you on your hardest days, and then obviously celebrations are the way. And that
Yeah.
exactly happened with you, right? Now, before going into the celebration mode, I just want to understand that when you are a first graduate in your family, right? So if considering that you were the first engineer in your family, the first graduate in your family, there it comes with a certain bunch of responsibilities, right? People start looking up to you. People start expecting a lot out of you. So how did this uh, kind of become a challenge or a barrier, or probably it empowered you? How did you look at it back then? And yeah, just talk about it.
Yeah, so actually, that's a tough question to answer. If you see, after getting to that situation, obviously, since it's a middle class family, they put in college thinking that I'm going to earn in lakhs. That's what the
Yeah,
mindset of people when we
agree.
come out of college and when they
Yeah,
see me struggling in getting a job.
yeah,
So the only thing I can see is like my family provided unwavering emotional support there. So even though they can't able to provide proper career support, but they are
yeah,
behind me. So they provide their constant presence whenever I felt alone. So
yeah,
after returning from interviews, normally with heavy heart, it becomes a routine during
yeah.
those days. When I enter, like I always see them as like a welcoming mode rather than like expecting something. And including my brothers, they always have that uplifting words and encouragement, helping me to navigate through that tough moment and trying to concentrate on next thing. So that's how it made it as lively. Wherever I feel deep, their emotional support made me to come out of it without hanging over there. And the community curiosity is little different. Basically, always
Yeah.
during that times they'll come and ask, "Did you get a job?" Because mostly my friends out of the college they got some jobs here and there, so they always
Okay.
compare like. What
Yeah.
happened, did you attend this interview, so all those things leave me at a loss of words. Like so then what I did, like I started mainly like moving to a government library nearby. So I started spending my time in there, like other than sleeping I just like started spending my time in libraries. That's how I deviated from that moments.
Perfect. But I think that was the last time when you faced such a bunch of lows in your life, and luckily, because you had that strength, or you had that what do you say, support behind you,
Yeah.
it was just easy as a breeze for you. Not maybe easy as a breeze, but it was bearable for you, right? Then let's move ahead to the next thing, because you then started uh, as a faculty, right? Now, how difficult or easy was it? Because probably it's your first job, right? You're teaching people now. And also, along with this faculty thing, how did you transition into a developer at HTC? Because you worked for like 1 year as a faculty, and then you transitioned into a developer. So if you could tell us more about that.
Yeah, so after a few months of this kind of life, then I started thinking, okay, something I have to do. So that's where
Yeah,
this faculty job come into picture. And people
yeah,
who are in Tamil Nadu, they know about CSE. That's like a mid-sized computer center. That time it's very famous for especially low
okay,
budget education in computers. They provided a lot of courses, and
got
I
it.
went there as a tutor, and especially my target was to teach Java. And
Hmm.
that role marked a significant turning point in my life, because I'm an average guy, like, I know Java a little bit. So when I
Yeah,
started teaching, so that tutoring experience forced me to deep dive. So because earlier, like,
understood.
even I'm average, now since I'm teaching
Yeah,
students, I end up in
I'll
deep
have to
dive in
be.
the subject, because I need to
Yeah,
teach,
yeah, yeah.
I need to resolve their doubts. So this
Completely
immersion
understood.
ignited a passion in Java. So that's where it started. Okay,
Understood.
now I started prompting me to develop a small applications as a learning exercise. Then
Yeah,
concurrently, I started creating some websites, some applications for small businesses. So slowly,
understood.
the change from a tutor to creating websites and creating application. So that solidified my interest towards pursuing a developer career. That
Understood.
time could have been better. Like, basically, my one of my friends, he reached me and he told there is a trainee opening in HTC, and that's where I thought, like, this is the right time. I should not think twice. And then I moved from a trainer to a trainee, basically, trainer
Understood.
CSC to a trainee in a developer, a software company as a developer. That's a beginning of my transformative journey in my career.
Understood. So, your time at Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, right? It coincided with the financial crisis, right? Which was a huge setback across. So, how did you deal with it, and what were your learnings over years, and did it impact your career in the first place?
Yeah, actually, after HTC being a small, I can't say small. It's a mid-sized service company, and whereas,
Yeah,
like, my thought process is to move towards a captive or something bigger than that. I'm very conscious that I don't want to go to a service company. I just like move to a captive where we can able to own something and deliver end to end. That's where I got
yeah,
a chance to join Merrill Lynch in 2007, and I was one
yeah.
of the initial engineers in India Center, so in Merrill Lynch.
Oh,
And
got it.
I got connect with all the senior leaders, because it's initial phase. They used to connect face to face and make us to be comfortable about the company, to settle down. So all those aspects were very good. It was a very good start. And as you
Yeah,
said, like, it didn't last long. And suddenly, suddenly when financial crisis, I don't know, like, you look young, I don't know how much you are aware about all those financial crises happened in
yeah,
2007. It was very worse. I know, like,
yeah, yeah,
where US got stumbled
yeah.
because of that the mortgage crisis, where
Yes,
the banks like Lehman Brothers, it fully filed bankruptcy, and
yeah,
numerous financial institutions started collapsing. And
yeah,
since Merrill Lynch is a proper investment banking, it got a bad hurt. And that's where Bank of America, it's again a big retail bank in US. However,
yeah.
they have their own investment division, but still they didn't establish as a proper investment bank as Merrill Lynch.
Got it.
So they joined together. And with that, like, both business, again, both Bank of America and Merrill Lynch has the same business overlap, and they need to streamline the process and decommission all the redundant application. Obviously,
Yeah,
that there will be layoffs, there will be, like,
yeah,
letting go some applications, all those things can happen. So those were the
yeah,
challenging times for me. Then actually, at that point of time, what is required for the company. So basically, they are
Yeah.
trying to transform the process. They are trying to retain some application. They need to choose which particular application is going to serve the business. So I completed my PMP certification. It is for project and program execution. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
helped
Yeah.
me to pave a path to help the organization rather than thinking that how I am going to sustain. I started
Yeah.
thinking how I can able to help the company in that transition
Understood.
phase. So I completed, and actually I'm the junior. I can say with around 5 6 years of experience. Whoever completed PMP during that time are like around AVP VP level. So since I joined hand with them, I got opportunity to work with those senior folks, and I played a crucial part in like evaluating the application, primarily from technical aspect with those leaders in place to evaluate the business impact. And so that period taught me the importance of adaptability, like when something goes wrong, how we can able to adapt to those critical environments, and how
Yes.
continuous learning can help us to face this adversity and shaping me a more resilient and capable professional with respect to this change and anything if something goes out of control.
Understood. Understood. Now, this is something that's very, very similar to what's happening these days, right? There's a buzz about AI, there's a buzz about jobs being gone. But again, there are people who are saying that, okay, the jobs will be gone. But on the other hand, there are people who are believing that if you're learning, if you're upskilling, if you
Correct.
have adaptability, right, that's when you stay and play the game. So
Correct.
that was a longer game that you chose to play. Phenomenal. I think that was a very good move because by that you didn't stress yourself also and you upskilled as well,
Yeah.
right? Next stint, if you talk about your next stint was in PayPal, right? And you were like currently based out of in all these experiences. I forgot to mention you're based out of Chennai. Now, I just want to know how was your experience in PayPal and why was this hesitance in your heart for moving out from Chennai?
Okay, true. Actually, what happened, as you said, after spending almost 5 years in Bank of America Merrill Lynch,
Yeah,
actually, even in Bank of America Merrill Lynch, I got people management role because after playing that crucial role, I got. But most of my friends who worked together with Bank of America, they started
yeah,
moving towards banking companies as lead roles and or managerial roles. Like they went into Citi, Wells Fargo, BNY Mellon, a lot of banking companies in Chennai. And
understood,
my aim
understood.
was to join a product company, a proper tech company from there. So because from service to captive, from there I feel a product is the right way to move forward.
So,
So I don't want to
yes,
move parallel. There is a dilemma
yeah,
like whether we need to stick with the domain or to stick with the technology. I choose the other side around. So if you see my entire career, I my even though I'm leading a retail domain in Tesco, I'm new to retail. So basically, I'm a tech person. So that's where I decided to explore opportunities within tech company. And when I
yeah,
explored outside, I got a lot of opportunities in Bangalore and Hyderabad, and of course
hmm,
Chennai, but comparatively less because Chennai has very fewer product companies, and
yeah,
which is limiting my options.
yeah,
Despite of that, like since I spent almost my entire life until that time in Tamil Nadu,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
don't know Hindi, so I know Tamil and English. So I
yeah,
just felt that I have a strong hesitancy to moving out of that state, even though
yeah, yeah,
mentally I feel like I can able to do better by moving Hyderabad or Bangalore. But
yeah,
personally, I was a little bit hesitant to go out to
yeah,
adapt to environment where like possibly new learning uh, opportunities can come, but still
yeah,
I didn't take that opportunity. That's where
yeah,
like I landed in PayPal. PayPal has
yeah,
its own technology center in Chennai, and
yeah,
joining PayPal is again a turning point. As I said, like from captive to PayPal, so it's a proper tech company where I got chance to work in high scale applications with huge data volume, and PayPal offered me to exposure to payment domain and
yeah,
significantly enhancing my profile. Now you know how payment plays a key role in doing things, starting from
yes, yes,
paying something to vendor to anywhere. Like it's just like in street
yes,
vendor are taking payments. So payment that time itself, I worked in merchant integration. It was like a good experience overall there. And then that helps me to get me a stamp in my profile. Like I worked in a proper tech company, and I also learned all these primary skills to solve all the technical challenges. So that's a big boon. And I
Yeah.
learned a great deal, including how to migrate a legacy system to new stack with service-oriented architecture, security practices, and agile in a proper way with the proper product culture and managing the challenges of the infrastructure. And I can say this entire period is quite transformative to overcome hesitancy and embrace new technical challenges. So that's where I see the transformation from solving business to tech happened in PayPal. I got that opportunity.
Perfect. I thought it from an external lens, I can tell you it was a very wise decision because here you were kind of embracing all the career biases that you had. And in your next stint, which was at Geo, you were embracing all your own biases that were there. Probably one of the biggest bias was location, right? But again, you started your stint at Geo before the world knew that anything like that was coming. So tell us a bit about that. And yeah, just tell us about how moving to Bangalore was a tough choice, but how has and now we were just talking before this call that Bangalore is now your home, right? So how has this decision changed? And yeah, talk about your journey and
Okay, sure. Again, after completing almost 3+ years in
yeah,
PayPal, then I
yeah,
started thinking I need to move to a startup.
yeah,
Okay, I'll tell why. Because again, in PayPal, even though it's a bigger company,
yeah,
actually it has its own restriction because I need to work under senior architects, and where I'll be guided by them. So mostly,
yeah.
I feel
Got
like
it.
I'm in execution mode rather than a drive mode. So joining
Got
Jio
it.
was an incredible experience that significantly shaped my career, both personally and
Yeah,
professionally.
yeah,
Basically, after PayPal, normally people will think, okay, I need to go to Fang or Man company, with the
yeah,
fancy tax and with good
yeah,
salaries. But I felt like I want to go to a startup that will offer me opportunities and exposure and rich learning environment. But there is
understood.
a risk, right? Balancing the risk is like choosing a big company, established company versus a startup. That's
Yeah,
where Geo comes into picture, and it becomes a perfect solution to solve my problem.
yes,
Like
yes,
offering a stability, like I don't want to talk much about Geo's brand
yeah,
and
yeah,
their background, but still it will
yeah,
operate as a startup company because the way
yeah,
it started with again in a fast mode. In 2015, when I joined, they was about to launch the major launch within the company and employees in 2016. So we need to aggressively work where we can't plan all those things in a proper enterprise application, enterprise organization. We don't get that opportunity. We need to do things
yeah,
swiftly. And there, if you see, there's no one. I was like almost reporting to 4 level up to me. So I was given
yeah,
this particular module. I need to drive into it. So that's where it becomes a good opportunity because the hard launch is in December in 2017. So we have like almost a
yeah,
year time to prep for
yeah,
all these things. This
mm,
role, with this all challenges, it provided opportunities for growth. Unlike
yeah,
previous experience where I was guided by senior architects and technology leaders, Geo
yeah,
allowed me to take full ownership of the projects from design to
yeah,
implementation. This level of responsibility was exactly which I sought as in a startup environment. It came with
yeah,
added benefits of operating at a massive scale. Normally, if you see a startup, it takes longer time to get the scale. You take any
yeah,
startup
yeah.
company, they'll start
That's
building,
true.
they'll try to onboard people, customers. Slowly, it will ramp
Mm,
up. Scaling will take years. But that's a difference with Geo. When you launch, there are millions
yeah,
of people. The scale is massive. So
yeah,
it's like something you put it in live, immediately you'll test with, you don't want to load test. You put it in live, it will get load tested and it will get tested there, then and there itself. So that's
yeah,
what the massive scale. And one of the most significant project I worked was GeoChat. It's a chat application, and it includes innovative features. When I joined, after that they want to make this as a advertisement. So I first get into again challenging work called Chat as a Lifeline, which is a Marathi
okay.
version of Kaun Banega Crorepati. Uh,
Oh,
so that's the first integration. I did it along with the Kaun Banega Crorepati team, and
okay.
where the core thing is like you will have a friends group like WhatsApp group, And
yeah,
when you pick a lifeline, automatically people's will, again, your friends will be in that group, question will be posted in the group, and your friends will respond, and we will pull all the response in the screen. The contestant in the hot seat can able to pick the right answer. Again, it will have all the answers as mixed answers. He or she has to pick the
understood.
right answer. So that's a world first initiative as a
Yeah,
lifeline. So that again paves a world. That's again laid the groundwork for our national play along. National is Amitabh Bachchan show, right? Like
yeah, 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 yeah,
we played a role called play along. So
yeah,
when it goes live in Star, like you can able to play the same game as a
yeah.
equivalent to hot seat contestant from your home, sitting in your
Home,
sofa.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's again a part of my program. Like it broadcast to a huge millions of people with handling low latency and live broadcast. I mean, it's a successfully met. Like again, there are a lot of failures to talk about. I don't know whether time.
yeah,
So initially it failed for 2 3 4 days. It was not working because of a lot of again, I can say those were the learnings I got.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
considering the time, I'm not getting into details why it got failed and how I learned. But these professional
Yeah,
achievements were complemented by personal growth as Geo launched
yeah,
and approached the scale that need to the scale the team become very evident. So
yeah,
and the opportunity I got, I was involved in building the team from scratch. When I joined as an architect, obviously I can't do things alone. I need a
yeah.
team. So I started screening profiles, onboarding new members, and ensuring they can able to start and do the impact quickly. Despite
Got it.
Jio's formal HR structure, since being a startup, I got hold of a lot of things, starting from some product work and HR work, like screening people, doing interviews.
Got it.
So that's where like I started feeling it as an environment where it helped me to scale end to end, not only from technology perspective. This period marked my transition as an individual contributor to a manager, and also
Yeah,
as a senior leader with managing multiple teams. My responsibility grew as a team expanded. Initially, I focused on one particular area called channels. Then I
yeah,
started exploring GeoChat core features and stories, which is equivalent to YouTube Shorts. YouTube, we have Shorts, right? Similar to that, we
yeah,
have
yeah.
stories. In
Okay.
summary, my journey at Geo was marked as a substantial professional and personal growth. I navigated through all these complex projects, built and led teams, and transitioned into managerial role, all while contributing to the successful launch of Geo along with those customer care chat and the other social platforms. Yeah, so that's what I see.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I think it's really amazing to see such a product that's probably listed on the stock market now, right? You've seen that product go live. You've been a part of it, right? You've created things that we use in our daily life.
yeah.
So just can't think about how proud you are for all that. But yeah, obviously, such decisions uh, clearly prove that how key decision was to join Geo and probably to move to Bangalore. But meanwhile, I'd ask you were there with Geo for 7 years and you were now in Bangalore in another town for 7 years. So I would want to know the history of how Bangalore was treating you rather than just Geo.
Actually, Bangalore's treating me very well because initially I had that fear of moving out. I can say hesitance
Yeah,
of
yeah,
moving out because of a lot of
yeah,
reasons, including
yeah,
my family and stuff. But when I come to
yeah.
Bangalore, I never felt I'm out of city. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
there are a huge number of people from our city, and
Yeah,
from
yeah,
language perspective, I don't know how much you know Bangalore. Like they are mostly English speaking people, and they won't
yes,
even see you as a different city people. Like they
yeah,
mingle
yeah,
each other. So even I felt like compared to all other cities, I travel to some other cities, at least not in long term, for short term. Bangalore is
yeah.
some city like everyone will love to be here, like because of the people, weather,
That's very true.
whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah, very welcoming crowd, right? People that will make you feel at home, right?
yeah,
So that's something that I really believe in. That Bangalore is something. It's now a home to India rather
yeah.
than just being a home to Bangaloreans. It's comparatively a home to India, and that's where you get diversity. You get to meet people across the nation. You learn some of their cultures, they learn something from you, and that's how probably I believe you went ahead and spent these 7 years with Geo.
Sure.
Now, even before COVID, you were significantly working from home, and now working from home, this topic has been a lot talked about, that how there are positive sides of working from home and how there are negative sides of working from home, right? So I just want to understand how easy or tough was it for you to work from home, and how did you manage your work life balance this time? What tips you were to give, if you were to give to an audience, what would you tell them?
Yeah, sure. Actually, what happened is when Geo started in Bangalore, it
Yeah,
started again. I settled down in a place where it is close by, but eventually
yeah.
Geo moved away. That's what happened.
Okay,
Because like they
okay.
expanded wildly, like they have AGO, they have multiple other tech divisions within Bangalore.
Yeah,
They combined and they moved to Brigade Road. Like initially it was 4 kilometers away, then it moved 6 kilometers away, then it moved almost 15 kilometers. That's the worst part of Bangalore is traffic, which I don't want
yeah,
to
yeah,
explain
yeah.
to you. So
That's all of it.
it went to Sarjapur, so it almost took 2.5
Hmm.
hours one way. So both way it
Hmm.
becomes almost 4 5 hours. It's not productive to spend all those like valuable time in road. That's where
Yeah,
I started requesting for work from home that time, like in 2017. Uh,
yeah,
so, and even org approved. Again, it's not easy to get work from home at that time. So,
yeah,
after COVID, it becomes easy. At that time,
yeah.
it's not easy until,
True,
and
true.
even though I accepted work from home, I started feeling that heat. Uh, Whatever people started during COVID time, I started because I feel like I'm away from the team and how to
Yeah,
connect,
yeah,
how to build that trust. So all those
yeah,
things becoming challenge. Usually I go once in a while, maybe monthly once to office, but still, what I do is I set up proper value to time to each and every individual. Like I have proper connect, and when I go to office once in a while, like I'll ensure like all are there and I will take out and gel with, rather than making it as a working time. I'll just make it as a fun time and build that relationship. That's how I used that particular day when I go to office. Other than that, the challenging part is the transitioning from remote work, sorry, office work to home work.
yeah,
I end up in putting you lot of time, so unknowingly. So I start my day
yeah,
early, and then I burn out towards the end. And again, this is something I started doing for solving the problem rather than doing 9 to 5 job. So that's where I never
yeah,
felt like I'm running out of time. I'm burning myself. I stay late, even midnight to uh, deliver things. But slowly it started affecting my health. So then I
yeah,
realized,
yeah.
okay, this is not going to
It
scale.
is not.
uh,
Yeah,
so then I started thinking about how I can able to fix that. So few things what I can able to suggest is I I have a separate room now. This is my work room. So I have a
yeah,
glass doors, which will be like simulating the office doors, which will avoid
yeah,
noise, and at the
yeah.
same time, I will have one all the work related items here and nothing
Hmm.
personal. Vice versa outside. Outside this room,
Hmm.
you won't find anything related to office. So once I
Okay.
walk out of the room, I feel like I'm in home. So that's how I draw a small thin line between my office walls and home walls. So
Yeah,
but that's the first thing first thing I did. So that will ensure, okay, after evening when I walk out, that will give a feel that I am out of work. Second thing is routine. If you have a flexible routine, that's going to be difficult because then you can't able to exactly plan your day. So I started having a fixed routine. I start at 9:30 and close at 6:30, something like that. So that like we'll switch on and switch off will happen properly. We can able to schedule that calendar within that time, and I'll set the expectation to the entire team. Because since I'm away,
yeah,
they should be aware, okay, this person like Jagdish will be available from this time to this time. So and he's reachable through all these mode. First mode is email, second mode is messaging, third mode is call. So setting up the meeting. So I have each and every expectations. What is the response time? How quick I can respond? What is the emergency or criticality, and which mode to reach? So all those
that's true.
ground rules I set. So that helps me to clearly distinguish the mode of communication between me and the team. So how soon they want to reach, when they need to reach. So all those things were set. And to break the routine, I normally go and play badminton. So after 6:30, I cut off everything and I'll go to play. So that will again bring me back to my regular routine. So something like, and within the day also I have a fixed routine of this time I will have a break. So that way my entire team knows, okay, this time he will not be available. So that way, like the exact bonding and expectation are set. So that helped me to run the show without any distractions or without even over burning out. And setting clear boundaries for, again, for your time, for your family, colleagues,
Yeah.
and that will help by having a clear routine. Then prioritization and
Yeah.
planning, that's a very specific thing. Like normally you identify the focus area, do things properly, and carve out
Yeah.
what, and even if it is like something left over, it will be like low priority item in the evening, so you won't tend to stay late
Yeah.
nights, something like that. So that's how I
Got
balance work and personal life. And after COVID, by the time people were struggling, I was already mastered that. So
got it. Got it, sir. But yeah, these nuggets, for example, the thing that you told. So eventually, we also at Recro, our team works remotely, right? So this is something that we also do. We kind of create our own workspaces, our own work desk, where we sit down, and once we are there, we feel that we are in work,
yeah,
because this feeling is very important. I think, uh, or else you will not be able to distinguish if you are at work or at home, and
correct.
that feeling kind of lags your work as well, and it impacts your mood as well, which indirectly impacts your work, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, moving on to a quick fun session, which we call it as a rapid fire round, not some Bollywood stuff or something like that. But it's just basically quick options that I will throw at you, and you will just tell me and quickly choose one of them.
Mm.
Right? We get to know you more as a person. So, coffee or tea?
Tea, mostly I prefer homemade tea, ginger tea.
Wow. What's the best advice that you've ever received?
It's from my dad. He used to say, like, always there is some reason. If you meet a person in your life, always
Yeah.
try to do some help as per your possibilities without any expectations. So I continue doing it. I'm still doing it.
What's the worst advice that you've ever received?
Normally I don't see anything as a worst advice, because normally when they say something, it should be attached to my personal or professional growth. If I
Yeah.
don't have anything specially with that advice, I normally neglect it and see that as a point of view rather than
Yeah.
taking it as an advice. So until we
Got it.
take it and execute, we don't want
Yeah.
to take it as an
It's not
advice.
an advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your one word to describe your leadership style?
Okay, I can say it as inclusive leadership, because for me,
Got it.
again, even in Tesco, it's a flat organization. So I want
Yeah, yeah.
everyone to be empowered for leading them to success.
Understood. What's your favorite city to work in?
Yeah, now it's Bangalore, of course. Like I settled down, even someone pushed out, even I got multiple other opportunities out, like overseas. I didn't move out of Bangalore.
Okay. Who's your biggest inspiration in the tech world, if I were to say?
Tech world, there are many. And earlier, it's Steve Jobs for his innovative, out-of-box thinking and groundbreaking products.
Yeah,
Elon
yeah,
Musk, obviously,
yeah,
the way
yeah,
he thinks and revolutionized the entire world. So yeah, I
yeah.
follow.
Okay. What's one hobby you wish you had more time for?
Yeah, as I said, like badminton is something I feel like it's giving me more physical and mental stability. So I
Got it.
always try to find time, even if I have a busy schedule.
Got it. What's your preferred mode of learning? Books, online courses, or hands-on experience?
I started with books. Now technology trends are changing, then I started getting that Amazon Kindle. And then now, like,
Okay.
it's online courses and even hands-on whenever I feel like I can able to get touch of it. So it's mix of all.
What do you think is the future of tech in 10 years? More opportunities or more challenges?
Definitely more opportunities. I'll say, like, even you touched about, right, like it's more
Yeah,
interesting because of AI playing a pivotal role. So
yeah,
even though people see it as a challenge, I personally feel it's going to be an opportunity. But obviously the challenge will be in adopting them. So if you want to adopt
agree.
them, you need to scale very fast and learn a lot. And obviously, it's going to keep this like tech world upside down. So the development is going to be cheaper, and even a third rated countries, or like even low income organizations will adapt or embrace technology because of their value. Like that's also I see, because people are seeing in a different way, but I personally feel like it's going to generate more and more opportunities.
Understood. That's a different perspective, honestly. But moving on to the next decision. So, which is your current decision that you chose to transition to Tesco. Uh, So, just want to understand what were the personal factors involved over here, and how did you weigh the options between continuing as a technologist or taking a leadership role over here? Yeah,
Yeah, to be to be honest, like that decision was little tricky.
yeah,
So transition from Geo was not planned. So
yeah,
after spending almost 5.5 years, as I said, like I'm more attached to Geo, where
yeah,
I did a lot of end-to-end journeys of a product, and from initiation to
yeah,
design to delivery and scale.
yeah.
By the time the product reached a stable state, I started feeling that like I was getting into a comfort zone, then prompting me to consider exploring new opportunities. And that's where I can get more opportunity within Geo, but I have to move to Mumbai, so which I'm not
Okay.
I'm not that much aligned with that because
Keen.
of a lot of other
Yeah,
constraints. So that's where I started
yeah.
looking out in Bangalore. And
Hmm.
despite of taking additional responsibilities, I found myself in dilemma what to do. And when I explored job market, it's almost in 2022 after COVID was done and people started resuming to work. So that's what the stage. And I encountered range of open positions starting from tech leadership roles, like principal software engineers, senior member of technical staff, and then leadership roles like director, head of engineering. When I approached HRs and consultancies, their question will be like first, like which side I want to go. I was torn between pursuing a technical path or a leadership
Or a
path.
leadership role.
So my
Yeah,
extensive
yeah,
experience, having worked approximately 70 to 80% of time as an architect, even though I played a managerial role, made
yeah,
me confident in pursuing technical roles. However, I also received leadership opportunities from companies like Tesco. As I began interviewing for both types of roles, I successfully navigated both interviews for both technical and managerial positions. And this led to another dilemma, like choosing right path
yeah,
for my career. And
yeah,
I assessed my situation and I sought input from my friends and colleagues. In my current role in Geo at that time, I was wearing multiple hats, as we discussed, starting from hiring to delivery, even scaling post production support, sometimes even a bunch of product work. So
yeah,
that gives a comprehensive visibility and control over the entire process. So
yeah.
I have a confidence that okay, I realize that moving from to a large enterprise organization as an individual contributor might limit my impact, because when I did
Got
a
it.
role which can able to play end-to-end responsibility like this, even beyond technology, then restricting to myself only to technology in an enterprise company is what I feel like it's limiting my exposure. And that's where
Understood.
I decided to pursue a leadership role. So this path would allow me to maintain control over the end-to-end journey of projects and also make a
Yeah.
significant impact on both organization and my career. So that's how the entire navigation happened. I landed here.
Perfect. Perfect. I think you saw the wider picture, and that's when you took a call, right?
Yeah.
But having said that, you've now probably recruited more people than I have worked with. So I just want, there are a lot of people who are watching this session, right? A lot of them would want to work with the likes of the brands that you worked with, or would want to work in your team as a part of your uh, junior leadership or whatever, right? So I just want to understand what are the few things that you see in people uh, when they reach out to you. What are the few things that you want uh, aspirants to be careful about when they're applying to places? And yeah, something that you, is there a message for them? That's that.
Okay. So actually, there has been a significant shift between the landscape when I started my career to today. First of all, we should
Yeah,
agree. So people should
yeah, yeah,
understand the difference. In the past, as we started, no, like I clearly said, information was scarce. So we
yeah.
don't get enough information. But now it
Mm,
is vice versa. So
yeah.
because earlier career guidance was limited and we get very limited information. Today
Mm,
we have abundance of resources. Like starting from radio, a lot of people started giving interview tips and career advices. You open
yeah,
anything, there will be bunch of documents, bunch of videos, books, white papers, whatnot. This
yeah.
wealth of information can be overwhelming to people. So especially when
Yes,
they come out, they don't know. Like always they think, okay, hey, or whatever. It's like whatever comes to their mind, this thing. But rather than, I want them to step back, and the challenge now is to properly navigate and select the right resources. So that's the first thing I expect the young generation to do. So
yeah,
coming to career tips, I can say first of all, assess you because you will be the better assessor of yourself. See
yes,
what is your short term goal, what is your long term goal. You can
yeah,
decide either a job title, or like the title which you want to aspire, any role, whatever it is, but put a
yeah.
clear path from what is the current position. Like it can be a college grad or even it can be school. Like from there, where you want to be there in next 5, 10 years, 15 years, something like that. Have a proper path, then
Got it.
seek guidance from experts. So actually that's one thing which I felt I didn't get, and now I feel like this is the right point where we can able to exactly guide people, because when someone already navigated all those paths, he would have already faced what to do, what not to do. So
Exactly.
basically, as a young engineers or young professionals, rather than going and hitting the roadblock, connect with professionals who achieve the success in your desired field. They can provide valuable insights like or a structured learning path. So what has to be done from the entry level skills to get into advanced and expertise level, that will help you
Mhm.
to navigate without much of deviation from your core journey.
Understood.
So
Understood.
adopt a balanced learning approach. When I say adapt balanced learning approach, when I started my career, it was T-shaped learning. When I say
Yeah,
T, I will have Java, maybe with some backend database and some infrastructure. So it's almost like 3, 4 items which I can able to name. And in that, I need to be very good in Java. I completed Java certification and I completed web services certification or web developer certification. That's I'm done and dusted
yeah.
for next 3, 4 years. But now that is not the case.
It's
So
not
I
like that.
say like we should go with V approach. When I say V,
Okay.
still the breadth is required, but develop a deep expertise in core area where you are getting. It can be a programming language, it can be AAML, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Then while broadening, understand each and every level, because if it's a developer, imagine like I need to know DevOps as well, I need to know security as well. So like that, draw lines where which are relevant to your field, get into depth as V. So like that, like whichever is broader to you or like wider like
yeah.
distance to you,
But
just know that whichever
know
close
that.
to you, go into the depth of
Go in depth.
simulating V. So that will help you to widen your knowledge in iterative manner where industry expect that diverse skill with the general level, where the general level is crucial, where the depth is recommended. So that view will
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
And obviously continuous learning and consistency. So the field is evolving rapidly, staying updated and essential things. Commit to a continuous learning, remain curious rather than doing something just to do. Just ask why question, why I have to do like this, why not that way. So once you start asking why questions, then you will get like a lot of information, and you can able to solve the problem in a creative manner rather than the regular or the
Yeah,
way already shown. And embrace challenge and take calculated risk. And whenever you do something, always think out of box, and it will have some learning curve. Expand your professional scope and do mistakes. So always don't fear to do mistakes. It is valuable for learning. As I tell, like
yeah,
I learned a lot from mistakes rather than reading from books. So embrace them as a opportunities to growth. So take calculated risk and enhance your learning curve. So that's what I can say. Those are the basic strategies. which we can effectively navigate and vast array of available information, build a robust career, continue to grow both personally and professionally. So following this path.
Understood. Understood. No, the V-shaped thing that you told was very, very important because I think in an era that we are, generalist or a specialist, that remains to be a question, right? A lot of people say that, okay, I'm a generalist, I know things end to end, but I think it's an amalgamation of being a generalist and a specialist. And as you said, the fields that are wider should be on the other distant end, while the fields that really close to you should be on the maximum depth. I
Yeah.
completely agree, sir. What it's a, actually a very, very valuable point from your end. Now, my next question can be slightly tricky. So I just want to ask that if there was one thing that you could go back and change in your life, so there are regrets, right? What would this thing be?
Actually, I've taken balanced decision whenever something comes up, and always I know what I have done is the rationale behind. With the time
Yeah,
and resources, I have taken the decision. I always
yeah,
don't regret, but when you say it could have been changed my life, I can say, looking back over the years, now I come to realize one thing I missed out was an opportunity to mentor people at each and every level. So, see, imagine after getting a job, I could have mentored a lot of people to get a job. And after getting into a captive, I could have at least helped people to explore in interviews and clear them. And each and
yeah,
even after getting product companies, the level of knowledge I'm getting, right, I could have shared now and then. That's how the impact could have been better. But what happened, like reflecting on my time in the industry, I was mentoring or just guiding only people around me. I felt like that is something I could have made it better. So unfortunately, I was not enabled to do that time. Like I feel like I didn't
yeah,
do justice to this aspect of professional environment, the growth I had. If
yeah,
there's one thing I want to change, I could have invested more time in mentoring in each and every phase of the career. Like rather than doing it now, whenever I get to know something, I could have reached the right people and share that knowledge. So in that way, like it would have been made a wider impact. Now as a leader, I'm committed to making up for this missed opportunity. I take it
yeah,
upon myself to spend more time with each and every new member. When I say new member, starting from new grad to junior
yeah,
developer, not only within my
yeah,
area, like across
yeah,
Tesco. So I collaborate with fresh grads and interns to guide them, like just carving out time and making that opportunity to talk to them, where I can also learn from them. Like at least
yeah,
they are Gen Zs, they have different views, like understanding people and getting technology from them. At the same time, I can
yeah,
able to discuss their aspiration, what is the long term, short term goal, and share my own experience and helping them to succeed. So this dedication to nurturing others is something I now practice diligently. But if I could have turned back time, I would have embraced peer-to-peer mentoring to even more wider audience. I could have done it better. I would have allowed me to touch more lives and contribute towards their success. Greater number of people, leading to deeper sense of personal satisfaction. That's what I can say.
I think that's a very big point because, and having said that, I think today the technology has made it so much more easier for us to
It's
connect, right? Because earlier, when you wanted to, irrespective of your thought, to mentor people, there were
limited.
it wasn't this easy to connect with people, right? It wasn't this easy to mentor people. But today, I think you can have a wider impact because today there are a lot more people to learn. Specifically, if we talk about our community, we have 20,000 plus developers
Yeah.
all across India, be it from Chennai, be it from Bangalore, be it from Kerala. So they spread across the country, and we continuously have sessions for them. We have resume review sessions. So I think that's a great initiative, though. But having said that, Uh, I would just request you to not be very harsh on yourself because I think you tried your best, right? Because you had people around, you tried your best, but now is the best time to give back. Is one thing that I can definitely assure you. Um, I think that just give me a second. I'll check. Yeah, we have a question from our audience,
Yeah.
and they've also played it slightly dicey. They've asked you what was the biggest risk you took in your career and how did it pay off?
Okay. Biggest risk, as I
Yeah,
said, like I always take calculated risk, and
yeah, yeah,
joining Geo itself a kind of risk for me. Initially, when
yeah,
I joined, I want to try it because
yeah, yeah,
I was from a proper corporate brands. Like
yeah,
Geo is a risk which I took, but that rewarded much. That's what I can say.
yeah,
Because if I would have went to any other company,
yeah,
I would have got good salary or maybe good branding.
yeah,
But the learning what I
yeah.
got in Geo can't be, and at the same time, it
Man.
can be vice versa. Imagine if I joined a company, maybe whatever it is, X, and thinking that I'm going to get it. Obviously, there might
Yeah,
be chance that obviously startup has its own risk, right? Shutting down the organization, or
yeah,
even they may start some idea which may not fly well, and
yeah,
obviously you will not get enough opportunity what you would have not got. So that's what I said. Like always, you need to take that risk, and the risk reward sometime, but you should be always prepared for the failure. So you should not think only other side of it. Prepare for failure, fail fast, have the thought process. If something not going well, what I'm going to do. So if you have the proper backup plan, obviously you can take risk. In my case, that was the risk and it rewarded. Yeah.
yeah. To always have a plan B in place is what I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you for the session. I just want to summarize that adaptability, as per you, is one of the key things that we should hold. Always, we should be inclined towards continuous learning. And if we see a career trajectory, it was majorly about making wise decisions, setting expectations, and having a routine. Obviously, setting very, very clear boundaries is something that I take away from this session. Priority planning is something without which our days don't pass, right? We have to make the P1 and P2 very clear, and that's how by the end of the evening we feel that whiff of no stress around that. So yeah, and another major learning, if I were to summarize, was not to get too much in our comfort zone, and there are a lot of resources available. So don't deviate. Just listen to the most credible resources that you feel and follow them. So there will be a part of success and failure, but what you'll have a plan B for failures, and obviously if you succeed, then we have your story as the person who saw Geo succeed, right? And the V-shaped learning thing is something that we'll all take away home, and we'll all try to strive towards it. Uh, thank you so much, sir, for this session, for the enlightenment. I hope we were able to add a lot of value to the life of the audience. Anything that you'd want to say, right?
Yeah, I would like to thank you for your time and the entire Recro. I know like back of this, like, a lot of people work to
Yeah,
make this happen, and I would like
yeah,
to thank each and everyone for giving this opportunity. As I said, I started giving back to society. I feel this is
yeah,
a great opportunity to give back to larger audience with the forum like Recro, because
yeah,
when I do it alone, as you said, like the impact will be less. When we join hands, the
yeah.
impact is wider. And thanks for giving this opportunity to make this wider impact. And thanks for each and everyone who's online and listening to this. Please feel free to reach me. Even like Tesco is hiring a lot of junior to senior engineers, and you can connect with me and message me your profile. And if you feel like any guidance required, I'll I'll try to help you to guide what exactly required, and I can able to refer to, for Tesco. And we need right talents. Always there's scarcity.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think this will be a great sigh of relief for our audience. Thank you so much, sir. It was it was really, really nice talking to you. And these all these insights that I've just noted down, I'll take them for life. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you all. Take care.
Good evening. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.